Shanti. I have been given a very interesting topic to speak on: becoming the conqueror of attachment. But before I start, I would like to question all of you. Who thinks that he already is the conqueror of attachment? Have you conquered attachment already? Or are you still conquering, or you have to conquer because you haven't conquered yet? So those who think that they have already conquered attachment, raise your hand. No one? No one? Oh, one brave soldier. Stand up. Okay. Acha, yeah. Welcome. You also? Okay. No one among the sisters? Huh? No one? Acha, you conquered attachment? Very good. Who else? Only 3 souls out of so many, eh? Anyway. And what about those who said, no, we have not conquered and I'm still too attached? They raise their hand. Acha, there are. Too attached. Oh, so many hands. And those who say that they are in the process, the efforts are going on, they raise their hand? Okay, very good. So, majority are those who are making the efforts and they are in that process of conquering attachment. So, if you conquer attachment completely, then you will be called the true Arjuna. So, if we look at the Gita, Baba talks about the Gita so much. Gita is all about conquering attachment. Otherwise is also. But the main theme behind all that is conquering attachment. Arjuna is the main figure in it, and he is in the middle of a battlefield. God is his charioteer, Krishna as they show, and God is telling Arjuna to fight. On the opposite side, on the enemy side, are the Kauravas, and Arjuna and the Pandavas on the other side. And on the side of the Kauravas, there are the cousins, the uncles, the gurus of Arjuna. All are, it's a family quarrel, family dispute over a piece of land. And the Kauravas are not willing to give that land to the Pandavas. And then they start a battle. But what happens that during this battle, or as the battle is about to start, Arjuna does not want to fight. Because he's seeing on the other side, in the other army of the enemies, all his kinsmen, his relatives, his gurus, all whom he gives so much reverence and respect. And God is telling him, kill them. And he says, how can I kill them? Those whom I have been playing with since childhood, they're so close to me. They're my blood relationship. They have taught me so much. They've given me so much. And here you're telling me to kill them. I can't do this act. How can I do it? And Arjuna is being told by God, Arjuna, you are on a battlefield. Don't show your attachment now. You do your duty. Stand up, get up. Because he was sitting in the chariot and God riding the chariot and he is supposed to fight. And he does not want to pick up his bow and arrows and fight. And God is wondering why he's not fighting, sit in the middle of the battlefield. How can he just say that he won't fight? And then the whole Gita actually is about God making Arjuna understand that you have to fight. You have to conquer attachment. So it was because of his attachments that he was not willing to fight. Well, that's the story, the background. Now, the whole Gita is actually different ways in which God is explaining to Arjuna that he must fight. How it is for his benefit. So the first point God gives him is, hey Arjuna, come on, get up, start fighting. And Arjuna says, how can I? My kith and kins, men, how can I fight? And God is telling Arjuna, don't see all that. You just see them as souls. This is the second chapter. The first chapter is all about preparations of it, of the battle, of the war. And the second chapter is God telling Arjuna about the soul. Hey Arjuna, well, even if you fight, even if you kill, actually you can't kill anyone because everyone is a soul. Soul is eternal. Soul can never be born, it never dies. Soul only changes one costume to the other. It leaves the body, it is called death. When it takes a new body, it is called birth. So there is no birth and death of the soul. It is just changing of costume. And therefore, Arjuna, don't refuse, don't say no, get up, because you're really not killing anything. The soul is eternal. The body is perishable anyway. And therefore, you get up and start fighting. So whole chapter is on the soul. But when Arjuna listens to this, he says, okay, but why should I kill? If the soul is eternal, the body is perishable, okay, but then let them die at their own time. No, why should I kill them? Why should I? Why, it's a big sin if I kill. Actually, now we understand that it is not physical killing at all. God will not tell anyone to kill anyone. But this is killing the attachment. So the second chapter explains that, and Arjuna is not understanding. He is not willing to conquer attachment and start, or to kill attachment of his relatives and gurus and all that. So Arjuna doesn't understand. So one aspect of trying to make Arjuna understand doesn't work. Like Baba was saying in today's Murli, children, see everyone as a soul, as a soul, as a soul. But those who are not able to see their lokiks, their friends, their relatives as a soul, then the attachment comes. And you see how Brahma Baba made the effort. The first thing he did was to make the effort of conquering this attachment by making effort to see everyone as a soul. Because when Shiv Baba entered in his body and told him, you are a soul, you have to see everyone as a soul. So Baba practiced this. He would see his Lokik wife and he would tell her, you are a soul. He would see his son, He would see his daughter-in-law, he would see his, all the whole family was there with him. He would tell everyone, you are a soul, you are a soul, you are a soul. And then in order to practice this more, he would sit in his room and maybe, I don't know whether he had some paper or pen, but then he would write on the walls. Yashoda was his Lokik wife's name. Yashoda is a soul. Radhika was his daughter-in-law's name. Radhika is a soul. Narayan was his Lokik son's name. Narayan is a soul. Radhika is a soul. Yashoda is a soul, is a soul, is a soul. Everywhere on the walls he would be writing, so and so the soul, so and so the soul. This was the effort Baba used to make. So the Gita tells 5 main points. And Baba did the effort, but Arjuna did not understand, as they show in the Gita. Then God adopts the second method of trying to make Arjuna understand that he has to fight. So the second method God adopts is that God tells him, see, you are so attached to them, but they will have to die one day. And he shows him a battlefield, and then he shows him a graveyard. They are destined to die anyway. Their destiny is there, it's fixed. They have to die. And he sees a big graveyard. Everyone dead at the end of the battle. And now, instead of really wanting to get up and fight, he becomes more sad. Because he's so attached, no? And he says, oh, all of them are going to die like this? Everything is going to turn into a graveyard. And I will be responsible for that. I don't want to do this. This is not my task. It's a big crime, it's a big sin, and therefore I will not do this work of killing anyone. So in spite of seeing everything turn into a graveyard, God is showing him the future, giving him the vision of the future. But that makes him more sad instead. Instead of really listening to God and starting to fight, he becomes more sad. And he just gives up his bow and arrows and he just stops there and sits in that state of remorse or sorrow. But then now God has to make him understand that he has to fight. He just can't give up like that. So the next chapters are in which God is telling him that this is your duty. You are a karma yogi. You do every action in my remembrance. Whatever you do in my remembrance. Keep your mind in me. So even if you are using your bow and arrow, but if you remember me and use your bow and arrow, then it will not be called a sin. And therefore get up, Arjuna. Do not give up your duty, your responsibility. If you do not fight, you will be called a coward because you are a warrior. And as a warrior, you are meant to fight. This is your duty, your responsibility. And if you say no, you are shunning, you are going away from your responsibility, and you will be called a coward. Your future generations will say that my forefather was a coward. Do you want to be accepted as a coward by your future generations? And Arjuna does not know what to do. So get up, Arjuna, start fighting. But Arjuna is not willing to fight. And then God tells him, Arjuna, see, in this battlefield, you are definitely going to be victorious. Victory is destined for you. Don't think that you are going to be defeated. You are going to be victorious. And you have been victorious in this battle in every kalpa. You have conquered them in every kalpa many times before. So it's nothing new for you. You just repeat what you have done before. And you are definitely going to win this battle. And when you win this battle, you will become the master of heaven. That's what God is telling Arjuna. You will rule in heaven. You'll be a sovereign of heaven. But then Arjuna is saying, but why should I become a sovereign of heaven by killing them? I don't want such a sovereignty. I don't want such a sovereignty. I kill them and then become master of heaven or sovereign of heaven by doing such a criminal thing. I don't want such a heaven. It's all his attachment which is working in him. And therefore he doesn't understand what God is telling him. And then God tells him, but okay, even if you won't win, even if you think you won't win, maybe you're afraid that you may lose, but even then you will go to heaven. Think of heaven. Then God tells him about the golden age. What golden age will be like, what will be your attainment if you win in this war. But then still it doesn't enchant Arjuna at all. He is so, sort of like a stone. He doesn't understand anything. And then ultimately, when Arjuna does not understand, then God shows him his variety form. That's the end chapters where God shows him his variety form. And in that he saw the variety form of Vishnu, as they show, the many heads, and the heads depict the deities, and then the Kshatriyas, the warrior clan in the arms, then the Vaishya, the business class in the stomach, and the Shudras, the working class, in the legs. And then they show that how at the last scene, God shows him in the form of a vision of God as light, very powerful light, and the scene of destruction, that how all the souls are returning to the soul world. They're going inside his mouth, huge mouth. It's a very strange picture. And all, like Baba says, they will fly to the soul world, the souls like locusts, like insects, they'll all fly to the soul world. So Arjuna gets a vision of that. And then Arjuna realizes, who is telling him to do this? It's not an ordinary person telling him to do this. Because what Arjuna was seeing was an ordinary form, showing Krishna in human form. But of course they have mixed up three biographies, the biography of Shiv Baba, the biography of Sri Krishna, and the biography of Brahma Baba. So all the three biographies have been mixed up because it is a confluence age. And then they show that when he saw the variety form of Vishnu and the soul world and Shiv Baba's vision and destruction, everything he saw, ultimately he realized that who is telling me this? It's not an ordinary person telling me this. It is God himself telling me this. To give up attachment and start fighting and conquer attachment, and that is kill. And then Arjuna in the last chapters, he is standing, he's bending before Krishna at his feet, and he says, God, please forgive me. I did not recognize you, and that is why I was not willing to fight. Now I have recognized you, that who is telling me this? It's not an ordinary human being telling me this, it's God himself. And then he says, yes, I will now get up and fight. And then he takes the bow and arrow and starts fighting. And of course we know that how he wins and all the Kauravas are dead, and then he gets heaven. So that's the story. But then Baba says the Gita is of the confluence age. When God himself comes at this time and gives us the knowledge of the self, the soul, the knowledge of the Supreme Soul, the knowledge of the drama, the knowledge of karma, knowledge of the fruit of the bhakti we have done, everything Baba gives us the knowledge at this time. So the whole Gita is actually it's all mixed up because there are many, many other things in the Gita. Because when God tells Arjuna, keep your mind in me, do every action in my remembrance, be a karma yogi, a yogi in action. You just go ahead and do it in my remembrance, thinking yourself to be an instrument. And whatever the result is, that you surrender to me. Don't think of the reward, don't think of the result, but just do your actions in me, in my remembrance, that's all. And whatever you are being told, do that. But Arjuna then says, how to keep my mind in you? This mind is like a naughty vagabond, it's too naughty, it wanders here and there, I can't concentrate and this and that. Then Arjuna is being told, hey Arjuna, through disinterest and practice, you can definitely keep your mind in me. So disinterest means non-attachment, and practice will enable you to keep your mind in me. And then of course God gives him the vision, who am I? And he reveals, but then there's so much of confusion, so many other things in it, that the true speaker, the summarizer of the Gita is not understood. And what really Arjuna signifies is not understood properly. What battlefield, that's not understood properly. But now, as Brahmins, we understand everything. So how do we become the conquerors of attachment? Why does Baba tell us at this time to conquer attachment? Because it is time to return home. Baba says, I am the only one who is the true messenger. Only I come and give you the message of returning home. None of the prophet souls are messengers in that way. Of course, they come to support the world. But the true message is only one, and that message is that you have to return home. Like somebody comes and tells me that, come, you have to come with me, you have to return home. So that's a messenger bringing the message of returning home. You have to do good things, you have to love one another, you have to do all that. It's not a message. Message is only of returning home. And that message is not given in copper age and iron, it's given only at the confluence age. So Baba says, I am the only messenger who comes and gives you the message of returning home. Those prophet souls, they come to support the world, because just after them, the souls of that religion come and the religion expands. But I am the only one who takes back all the souls home. And therefore, now the Father says, children, remember me. Keep your mind only in me. Only I can liberate you. Only I can salvage you. Only I can take you back home. I am your only guide. No one else can take you back home. Why? Because everyone is body conscious at this time. They neither know the self, nor they know the Father, nor they know their home, nor they know that this is time to return home. So I come to prepare my children, and for that I tell them, children, remember me, so that you can become like me. So today's Murli, if you just take any Murli, today's Murli was so special, in which Baba said, I am always a soul. I never become body conscious. Even if I am in this body, I am not body conscious. I have no attachment to this body of Brahma. Yes, Brahma's soul has to make efforts to conquer attachment, which Brahma Baba did. But Shiv Baba doesn't have to make effort to conquer attachment because he doesn't have his own body. That's why many children, they tell Baba very lovingly, they say, Baba, See, you don't have to make any effort because you don't have any body. But we have the body, and therefore we have to make so much effort to give up the attachment of this body. For 84 births we have had the body. We are hardly for some time in the soul world. Otherwise, all the time we are in the body. And being in the body for the whole kalpa, it's not so easy to give up the attachment of the body, no? Isn't it? Is it easy to give up the attachment of the body? Because we are so much being in the body, so that's there, the sanskar is so strong of being in the body and the attachment towards the body. And here Baba is saying, give up attachment, you are a soul. So children tell Baba, Baba, it's so easy for you, but it's not easy for us. But Baba says, okay, Baba didn't tell you this in the whole cycle. Because it was not the time to return home. But now the time has come to return home. And even if you won't give up attachment of the body, you will be forced to leave the body anyway. You will be forced to leave the body when it will be time to return home. You know, like Baba was saying in today's Murli also, that some are so attached to their body, they are so attached to bodily beings, they are so attached to objects that even if the body is so weak, it's so diseased, yet they won't leave the body. They can't leave the body because of the attachment. And the result is that they are experiencing more and more sorrow, more and more sorrow, more and more sorrow all the time. Because there are so many karmic accounts to be cleared. The debts of the karmas are there. And those who are able to leave the body in a second, we say, oh, they are so fortunate. So fortunate. But then for that we need a long time practice of going beyond the body. Some who do not have this practice, even they leave the body instantly. Maybe it's a heart failure, maybe it's an accident, maybe it is a murder. So many reasons there could be for death. And many people have many types of questions. That supposing someone dies suddenly, it's a murder, he's shot and killed. Instantly he dies. Or it's a big accident and immediately he dies. Well, many ask questions. What karma did he do? But at that time think there was some good karma because of which he died instantly. Instead of suffering so much, people suffer so much in hospitals. So much they are suffering. At least one good karma was there that he could die instantly. Some people die in their sleep only, They sleep at night, saying goodbye to everyone, okay, we'll meet in the morning, and next morning, Om Shanti. He doesn't wake up. And probably that person doesn't even know that the heart has stopped, everything stopped, and the soul is gone. Doesn't even know. But maybe at that time when the soul was to leave the body, the karmic accounts were settled. But if the karmic accounts are not settled, there's a lot of suffering. And therefore Baba says, in order to overcome the attachments, we have to learn to go beyond. Every Murli tells us, children, the attachment towards the body, attachment towards bodily beings, attachment towards physical objects. These are the three things which make up the world. When Baba says, Baba is my world, it means, what does Baba mean by that? Baba is your world. Because world means three things. World means objects, people, and situations, incidents, all that comes under in the world, what the scenes which happen. And if Baba is my world, I don't see anything of these. I just see Baba and none other. I don't see anyone else as, with whom I'm related in such a way that I cannot forget. Of course, bodily relatives are there, relationships are there. We can't deny those relationships because of so many births of karma with those souls. So those physical relationships are there. If the soul is complete, it can't stay in this impure body, it will leave immediately. But if the soul is there in the body, it means karmic accounts are there. But on one hand, we have to look after the body also. And on the other hand, we have to give up the attachment of the body as well. We have to learn both things together. Like Baba says, Lokik and Alokik, keeping a balance of it. So too, keeping a balance between looking after the body well and still not being attached to the body. Because they are too attached to the body, they think that they have to look after the body well. Only through attachment they can look after the body well. Only if they have attachment towards the family and children and relatives, they can look after them well. They can take good care of them. Without attachment, they cannot take good care. Attachment is necessary for taking good care. And Baba says, it's not like that. Baba takes such good care of us. Baba loves us so much, but then still in a second Baba knows how to go beyond. When Bap Dada come in the body of Dadi Gulzar, they give so much love Baba gives. And then when it is time for Baba to go, in a second, Baba is gone. So all the care, all the love, all the, like showering of knowledge and love and joy and happiness and power, everything, giving everything what Baba has. But then when it's time to go, in a second, there is detachment. It's like going beyond. So this is what Baba says we have to learn. When we are in a certain place, be there. Show your concern, no doubt. Show your responsibility. It is there with you. You have to be responsible for it. But then, when it's time to go beyond, you should be able to go beyond in a second. What's the biggest weakness of ours is that when we have to go beyond, we can't go beyond. And when we have to really take care, we can't take care because we think that we are going beyond, So like what we want to remember, we can't remember. What we want to forget, we can't forget. That's the problem sometimes. When we want to remember something, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know, I forgot. What was his name, where I met him, what he does, I forgot. It's so hard to remember. So some things which we want to remember, we can't remember. And there are something which we are remembering so much and we have to forget, we can't forget. But Baba says that is also being the master of your mind. What you want to remember, you should be able to remember. What you want to forget, you should be able to forget in a second. So how will you practice this? You can practice it only by going beyond the body. We can practice it only by applying the 3 dots. I am a soul, Baba is a soul, that is, I'm becoming conscious of the self as a point of light. My eyes are seeing just a point of light. And thirdly, to every situation, I am applying a dot, drama, full stop. Bindu, what Baba says. Realizing the essence of every situation, so that if that situation has given a problem, sorrow or whatever, but I have learned from it, so that I don't repeat that mistake once again. That's why they say a bad judgment can lead you to, a wrong judgment can lead you to a bad experience. If the judgment is wrong, it will lead to a bad experience. But that bad experience should lead to a good judgment. I don't have to, lament over that bad experience. Oh, I had such a bad experience, had such a bad experience. It was a wrong judgment which I made, and therefore I got this bad experience. Okay, it was a bad experience, no doubt. But I learned from that so that I don't repeat that mistake and don't allow my judgment to be wrong again. Because I've already got the experience. Like Baba says, these storms of Maya which they come, they are like a gift for us to make us fly, to make us go ahead instead of making us stop or looking behind. So this is what Baba wants us to conquer. Attachment means not saying, oh, he doesn't belong to me, he doesn't belong to me, or I'm not the body, I'm not the body. No, he's not mine, he's not mine. Not the negative form. Let it be a positive form. Like, for example, for the body also, if you say, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, it won't work. But what I am, that positivity is needed. I'm not the body, no, but I am a soul. I am not impure, no, I am pure. I am not unhappy, no, I am happy. Many children say, but how can I say I'm happy when I'm not happy? I'll have to first tell myself I'm not unhappy, only then I can say I'm happy. No, it won't work. If you say I'm not this, you will never achieve your goal. There's a very beautiful example of this. Somebody went to one guru and said, oh Guru, my mind is very naughty, very naughty. Give me some mantra so that I can quieten my mind. So the Guru gave him some mantra and told him, keep chanting this mantra whenever possible, as many times possible. Keep chanting this mantra whole day and your mind will become peaceful. But then he told him one thing. He said, when you are chanting this mantra, if you want your mind to be peaceful, then you should not remember a monkey. Understand? Whilst chanting the mantra, do not remember a monkey. So he said, okay, why should I remember a monkey? And when he started chanting, I should not remember a monkey. Then what happened? A monkey appeared in front of him. The monkey's face appeared. Anytime he was chanting, monkey should not be remembered. Monkey should not be remembered. Then what happened? Then the monkey was coming in front of him all the time. The face of a monkey was appearing all the time whenever he was chanting that mantra. So he really didn't understand. He said, why is a monkey coming in my mind? So he went back to his guru and said, what is this, Guru? You said, don't remember the monkey. But then, whenever I am trying to chant the mantra, a monkey's face comes in front of me. I can't give up remembering the monkey. So that then his guru told him that don't think that this mind is naughty, mind is naughty, mind is naughty. If you say like that, your mind will be naughty. But don't even say the mind should not be naughty, mind should not be naughty. No. But what you have to remember that. And what you don't have to remember, you don't have to remember. It's so simple. In the sense that you don't have to remember that and then say, I have to forget this. But if your mind is already occupied with something else, then what you don't have to remember will be easily forgotten. So don't use the word, I don't have to remember this, or I am not this. Usually when we even chant mantras, what do mantras really indicate? Thinking of the positive. Like for example, the mantras which the gurus give, one mantra is Om Namo Shivaya. I pay salutations to Shiva. I pay salutations to Shiva. And they keep chanting this all the time. I pay salutations to Shiva. But then this mantra really is not that successful. Why? Because who is that I We don't know. I'm a soul who is paying salutations to Shiva, that they don't know. Because body won't pay salutations to Shiva. And then they say, I pay salutations to Shiva, then who is Shiva? That they don't know. And the result is the mantra is not, beneficial at all. But then Baba says, you don't have to chant, I pay salutations to Shiva, or I am a soul, and I am remembering Baba, I am a soul, I am a soul. But that consciousness has to come in the mind all the time. In the visions also, the thought has to come all the time that I'm seeing this one as a soul. But if the body appears, don't say, no, I should not see the body, I should not see the body. This is what people do in bhakti. In bhakti, they are afraid. Many gents, many men, they don't like to see a woman's face. They don't like to see a woman's face because they say, if I see a woman's face, then I'll be physically, pulled towards a woman. And therefore, they try to shun women. They don't want to see women. Many gurus, many sannyasis, they don't want to be in the midst of women because they think this will attract, this is like Maya for them. But then Baba says, you may see anyone, but why should your eyes be deceived? You see everyone as a soul. See in each one's forehead. Don't see below that. That's the best method Baba has adopted for us. See in each one's forehead, because if you see below the forehead, then all the negative things will come, the physical attractions will come. The differences will appear. Because forehead, no differences, except if somebody is bald, then maybe a bigger forehead, that's all. If he's bald. Otherwise, the forehead is flat. Nothing is flat. But anything below the forehead, all the differences will come. If you look into the eyes, maybe the eyes are almond eyes, they are cat eyes, they are blue eyes, they are brown eyes, all the differences will come. The nose, and such a fat nose, thin nose, some have a very pointed nose, some have a red nose. So then all the differences, then lips, then below is even worse. So sato, rajo, then tamo. Down is even worse. So that's a sato, rajo, tamo stage. But Baba says, go beyond all that. And just see the forehead, don't see the body at all. In the Ramayana, there's a very beautiful story, very interesting thing. They show that when Ravan abducted Sita, and he took her in his viman, and he was crossing the sky, going in the sky. So Sita, she didn't know what to do. So she had many ornaments, on her body. So what she did, she took off each of her ornaments and threw on the ground. Her necklace and her earrings and bangles, everything, whatever, and she just threw on the ground. And then when Ram and Lakshman, they went in search of Sita because the hut was empty because Ravan had kidnapped Sita. So they were looking around for her. And all of a sudden, Sri Ram, he found a necklace. And he's asking Lakshman, Lakshman, do you think this could be Sita's necklace? And Lakshman is saying, sorry, brother, I never looked at her neck. I never looked at her neck, I only looked at her feet, because that's bhakti. Of course, I always looked at her feet, or he would always bend down and touch her feet, that's all. Otherwise, he never saw anything of her body, he just touched her feet. So he would look only at her feet. Now Baba, what does Baba say? Feet means the lowest part. Why should you look at the feet? Baba is rising us. Baba is making us sit on his shoulders. Baba is making us sit on his head. He is uplifting us to such a great extent. In bhakti, we were always down, as if we couldn't rise at all. Either there was completely superiority complex, There's no one greater than me. I am the greatest of all. Like Ravan, the devils, they say they're the greatest of all. Or there is complete inferiority complex. I am the lowest of all. Because feet are supposed to be the lowest. But Baba says, not greatest of all in that way where the ego comes, the arrogance comes. No. Because we are all children of Baba. So where's the question of arrogance? But of course, each one is special. Each one is unique. I'm not jealous of anybody else. And I don't think that I'm the greatest of all. So neither the inferiority complex should be there nor the superiority complex, but the self-respect for the self and respect for all, because each one is unique. But then in that uniqueness, I see that one as a soul, because only soul can be called unique, because each soul is different from the other. But in a way, all are alike, because all are souls, all are points of light. So when I keep such a vision for myself and for everyone else, I'm able to become soul conscious easily. That's why Baba tells us to practice this meditation. Not that we look into anyone's eyes, but we see that one as a soul. Whenever we are practicing meditation, we are conducting meditation, or we are taking drishti, it's not just looking into the eyes. Of course, eyes, they will give the strength, the power of the soul, no doubt. But they're not just looking into the eyes and sitting like this, that's called, it's like something magic. We are enchanting someone. It's not like that. But the drishti becomes very, very pure, because I don't see that person's face, I see that one only as a point of light. So when I become a point of light, I see the other one as a point of light, the physical body will disappear. And Baba says, at the end, this will be the only thing which will come of use to you. At the end, the body consciousness will have to be given up anyway. Have to be given up, because supposing someone comes to you, maybe with a dagger, maybe with a knife, maybe with something, maybe wanting to kill you, maybe with a gun. But if you are in that soul conscious stage, and you are seeing that person also as a soul, not being afraid, but your drishti is pure, seeing that one as a soul in his forehead, and you are also totally detached from your body in that soul conscious stage, let me tell you, that person will get your vision. That person will not be able to see your body at all. He will see you only as light, only as a light form. Where will be the question of wanting to kill you, because he'll see you only in the light form. And instead of really wanting to kill you, he will just drop his whatever he had, and he'll fall at your feet and say, oh, you are an angel, you are like God. This can happen. It can happen. But then if I'm body conscious, if I'm attached to the body, if I am angry, if I'm upset, if I'm afraid, then of course anything can happen. So at that time, this soul conscious attitude will work. If I'm not able to, go beyond the pull of the body, then I can be trapped. So this is what Baba is saying. At the end, your paper will be only of 1 second. So when Baba speaks of becoming unattached or conquering attachment, what does Baba do? Supposing someone is having great love for someone else, but then another one wants that love of that for the other person, instead of for the person, but towards him. So what will that person do? That person will give him more and more love. And naturally the other soul will then will be detached from the other person and go towards that one who gives more love. Because soul is an embodiment of love. You'll see little children, see somebody is giving a child great love, he'll go to that person. But then if the other person is giving more love, he will leave that person and go to the other person. It's like that. Because every soul needs love. But it is very sad to see that how that love, which is supposed to be very pure, has become degraded today and turned into body conscious love, which is resulting in lust or attachment. Love is a wonderful thing. In Hindi, there's a very beautiful phrase. It is a letter, in English, is a 4-alphabet letter, Love. But in Hindi, it's a 3-alphabet letter. Prem, Pyar, Sneh. It is 3 alphabets, S and H, PRM, it's just 3 alphabets. So there's a beautiful saying, or 2.5 alphabets it is. Half per and r and ma, prem. So it's 2.5 letters, alphabets, alphabets letter. So there's a very beautiful phrase that this is just a 2.5 alphabets letter, but even the greatest of scholars are not able to read this word, though it is only 2.5 alphabets. The greatest of scholars are not able to read this word. And in order to read this word, in order to practice this word, you don't need the scriptures of this world. You don't need them at all. Why we don't need them? Because every soul is an embodiment of love anyway. Nobody is taught how to love someone. You don't have to teach anyone this, because every soul already is an embodiment. But today, people have to be taught to love. But then again, it is physical love. Spiritual love is natural love. And therefore, Baba says, we have love for everyone, but then when God comes, how does He shower upon us His love? With the help of knowledge, with the help of the virtues. He reminds us of all our virtues. He reminds us of our powers. He empowers us. He reminds us who we were and what we are going to become. So through the enlightenment, He gives us the love. And when we receive that love from Baba, we are able to be detached from everything else very easily. So there are 3 methods which are adopted for making someone be detached from someone and to be attached to someone else. One is giving so much love, and Baba adopts that method. That's the highest method. By giving all the love, it's not love through physical things, but it is love through knowledge, through understanding, through virtues, through powers, through empowerment, in a spiritual way. That is the true love, and Baba gives us that love. But then the second method is tempting that person. See, if you come to me, I will give you this, I will give you that. Tempting somebody. Some temptation is given for that person to detach from the other one and be attached to this one through a temptation. Usually the mother, if a child has something which he should not be holding, the mother will say, child, you leave that, I will give you this, this is better than that, and the child will decide whether what I have is good or what I don't have. My mother is giving me, that is better. So if he realizes, yes, what mother is giving is better, he will leave what he already has and he'll take what his mother is giving to him. He decides, because the mother gives him a temptation. So similarly, Baba too gives us a temptation. Not that Baba doesn't. Baba tells us, children, if you remember me, if you become soul conscious, if you do this, then you will get the kingdom of heaven. Baba gives us the kingdom of heaven. He shows us where we will go, what we will become. But He puts a condition. If you give up this, If you conquer the vices, if you become pure, if you remember me, if you do this, then I give you this. You come one step towards me, I will come 10 steps towards you. You keep the courage, I will give you the help. So first is the condition that you do first. And then I will shower upon you everything. But there are some children who are very clever. They say, Baba, I don't do anything. You do everything for me. I have no courage. You give me help, but you also give me the courage. You give me the courage and the help. Baba says, that won't do. Because this is karma, no? Baba won't interfere in our karma. But we have to keep the courage. Then the help will come from the Father. If I don't keep the courage, how can I get the help from the Father? And therefore Baba tempts us. But Baba says, first you have to do something yourself. Only then you can get the help. Only then you can receive. Baba says that in golden age, there will be so many, status. The world sovereign as well as the servant of the servants. People will, in golden age, there will be servants, but then there will be servants of the servants too. Servants who are serving the sovereigns, they will also have their own servants, no? Who will be looking after their house, cleaning their house, and they will be cleaning the sovereign's house. So, all these are different different status in golden age. And Baba tells us now a kingdom is being established. And therefore Baba tempts us also. But that's the second stage. The highest stage is where no temptation is necessary, where we surrender instantly because of love. Love which the soul receives, that is enough. No physical temptation is necessary. But then if that temptation also doesn't work, then the third method is adopted. Which is the third method? Which is the third method? For giving up attachment. Which is the third method? First is love. Second is the temptation. Third is? Yes? Threatening, Dharamraj. Threatening in the sense, not threatening, but frightening. In the sense, children, remember, if you won't remember me, if you won't absolve your sins, if you won't become pure, then Dharamraj will punish you. Baba warns us that also. Not that Baba doesn't remind us of Dharamraj. So, but that's the third stage, it's the lowest stage. The highest stage is love, where you just surrender instantly because of love. Like Baba talks about the moths. The moths, the moths are attracted towards the flame. The attraction toward the flame is so much, they don't see anything else. They don't even realize that they are going to die if they just jump over the flame. But that attraction of the flame pulls them, and they go towards the flame, and that's it. But there are other moths, they go just round and round the flame. The heat is too much for them. They can't bear the heat. They like the flame, they're attracted, but again they move away. And the third are too afraid, they are too behind, they don't want to come to the flame. But the first ones are those who don't see anything else. So, who am I? Baba always says, question yourself, who am I? Am I that soul of the first category who receives so much love from the Father that I don't see anything else? This is what I can share about myself, My experience of the first day I met Baba. Actually, when I came to Baba, I was only 10 or 11 years old. That time. My mother brought me to Baba. My mother had been coming to the center for some time. But then I never had a thought that I had to go with my mother. No, my mother told me to come to the center. I was studying, I was going to school. But then Baba had come to Bombay, He had come from Madhuban to Bombay, and I was living in Bombay. So my mother took me to Baba. It was Brahma Bhojan, the first day. I never been to this center, never knew anything about this Gyan, and my mother took me to Baba. It was Brahma Bhojan, and there were about 50 mothers and some children, and I was one of those. And Brahma Bhojan was very, very special at that time, during Baba's time. Now it's not very special because everybody eats, the dadis eat, and we all eat, and then okay. But then that time, during Sakar Baba's time, Brahma Bhojan meant some big lottery. So what it was, like, we would all sit in a circle or maybe rectangle on the floor, no tables at that time. And then we would sit, and Baba and Mama would also sit on one side. Then each one would go to Baba and Mama, and Baba would take that one in his lap, give him a pat on his back, and drishti, and a morsel in his mouth with a blessing. And then he would go back to his seat. So till everything was served, each one's turn would come, and they would go to Baba, in Baba's lap, and Baba's drishti, blessing, a morsel in the mouth, and a big pat on the back, also with drishti, and then go back to their own seat. So it was my turn to go, and I was a little bit hesitant, because I never seen Baba before. I was so young, 10, 11 years old maybe. And so everybody gone, and I was there. And when it was my turn, so Baba told me, "Come, child, come." And it was such a magnetic pull, like a magnet pulls the needle. That was the feeling at that time. And I just got up and ran and jumped like in Baba's lap. And Baba blessed me. The child has come back to the father. These were Baba's words for me at that time. This was in the year 1959, exactly 50 years ago, when I first came to Baba. And the child has come back to the father. And I felt that I have found my real father. Many people question, it's very interesting. I asked them that, how did you take your spiritual birth? So they say that my spiritual birth was through Baba's Murli, through the 7-day course. Some say through Toli, some say through Drishti. Different ways of taking spiritual birth. And I say that my spiritual birth was in Baba's lap. I just went in Baba's lap, and Baba gave me a new birth in his lap. And then there was no looking back. I never thought of anything else after. Never missed a single Murli, never did the course, never. Those days there were no courses like we have today. So just started coming to the Murli and listening to Baba. That was it. So directly from Baba's Murli, directly in Baba's lap, that is how my spiritual birth took place. That was 50 years ago. And then of course no looking back. People would ask me, such a long life to live, and you say that you now are going to surrender. But of course I did want to surrender when I was very young. At the age of 12, next year, 1960, I came to Madhuban with my mother. And in Madhuban, it was just Baba, Mama, and nobody else. Baba gave so much love. Whoever would come to Madhuban, Baba would give so much love that we would never, never forget our visit of Madhuban. He would, be on the swing with Baba, eat with Baba, or play with Baba. It was all just Baba was the main attraction, and of course Mama and Baba together. So I remember I stayed here for 1 week, 1960, May 1960. And when it was time to go back to Bombay, everything was packed and my mother had to leave with the whole group. I disappeared. I didn't go with the group. I was not there. My mother was looking for me. Where is Shielu? Where is Shielu? And they couldn't find me. I was hiding somewhere. because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go to Bombay. So then afterwards, of course, they looked for me and ultimately found me and brought me to Baba. And I cried. I said, Baba, I don't want to go to Bombay. I want to live here. So Baba was very sweet. Baba said, okay, child, such a small thing. Okay, Baba will make you be here. And Baba told my locking mother, you go back and Shielu will live here. And my mother looking at me. I was just 12 years old. And Baba said to my mother, okay, it doesn't matter. We will send her to school in Mount Abu. There are many good schools in Mount Abu. And therefore, she won't come back with you. She will be here. But my mother, of course, how could she leave me like that? Such a big family at home. They would all wonder what happened. Anyway, but then Baba, of course, understood the situation, and just to please me, he said that. And then you know what he said after that to me? Child, because when I came to Madhuban, I recited a poetry, I gave a lecture in English at the age of 12. I learned something by heart and I spoke in front of Baba. And Baba liked it very much. At that very time, Baba gave me this blessing. Baba said, child, Baba wants you to become a world server. You have to serve the world. And then when I was not going back to Bombay, Baba told me, see child, if you want to serve the world, you'll have to study. And in Mount Abu, not very good schools. Bombay, very good schools. There are very good schools in Bombay. And you become more good in English, then Baba will send you abroad. Baba will make you become a world server and you will be serving in the whole world. You like to do that, won't you? So first Baba gave me the love by saying, okay, she will stay here. And then Baba made me understand. He tempted me in a different way. And then he said, see child, if you won't go, your Lokik relatives will oppose your mother and she will have to face all the problems. So now you go, then Baba will call you. When you have studied enough, Baba will call you and Baba will send you to the world to serve. You know, this is how Baba tempted me. And also Baba, he told me what I should do. And then, of course, I said, okay, Baba, you will call me one day. And Baba said, yes, I promise, I will call you. And then Baba used to come every year to Bombay. And of course, I would meet Baba and Baba would give me so many blessings. Well, I had no time for that. But then in 1967, I was studying. I was in my second year of college. And my family members wanted me to go for medicine, become a doctor. That was 1967. So I was about 19 years at that time. But when I wrote a letter to Baba, Baba, what should I do? My family wants me to become a doctor and go for medicine. But Baba wrote a letter back to me saying, child, Baba wants you to become a spiritual doctor and serve the world. If you become only a physical doctor, you will be serving only a few patients, maybe, and being in one place. And Baba wants you to serve the world. So Baba wants you to become a spiritual doctor. Well, that was it. The answer came to me that there's no need to go for medicine. But anyway, I completed my graduation, 2 years. Then in 1969, Baba left the body. And when I came to know that Baba has left the body, I felt, Baba, I did not fulfill your wish and I'm still studying. Baba, when will I fulfill your wish? When will I serve the world? You know, that faith was there, the intoxication was there, and of course, there was no looking back, no questions, no doubts, because I knew this is God working here. Anyway, then after Avek Bapdada came, and then there was Kumari's training in Madhuban. And then in Kumari's training, when I came to Baba, Baba reminded the same thing, what Baba told me in Sakar, that Baba wanted me to become a world server. Just imagine. Bap Dada in Gulzar Dadi's body told me the same thing, what he had told me in Sakar. And then I had this, only one aim of serving Baba, nothing else. Then of course, Dadiji sent me to different places, in India. Then in 74, Dadiji sent me to Africa with Vedanti Ben and myself. We both went to Africa. And then from there in 1976, when I came to Madhuban, Dadiji put me in Madhuban. Well, then I had a thought, Baba, you had said that you will be a world server, and here I am only in one place. And then when Bap Dada came, Baba gave me another blessing. Baba told me, the world will come to you. You have to serve the world, and the world will come to you. So that's what we are saying. The world has come to Madhuban. And that's where I am, in Madhuban, where the world has come and we are serving the world. But then, of course, Baba has blessed me with so many other blessings. When television started first and we were invited to speak on television, Baba gave me the blessing that Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, is on your tongue, and through this tongue you will serve the world. So I didn't know in what way again I will serve the world. And then we got program for television, and then how the television programs go in the whole world. So how this is Baba's blessing to us. But of course there was no looking back. Once Baba told me, once Baba gave me this blessing that you will serve the world, then no questions at all. So in what way to serve the world, we are saying how the world is coming here and we are going into the world and serving the souls of the world because they have to come to Baba. But what I am saying is, but this will happen only when we are able to go beyond, no attachments. When I came to Madhuban from Mauritius, I served there for 2 years, Africa, Mauritius. And all of a sudden, Dadi said, you have to be in Madhuban. I said, okay. So not once this thought came in my mind, will I not go back? Will I not serve there? Because I lived there for 1 year, did so much service, and I was naturally feeling that pull. The attachment was there slightly. But then Dadi said, you have to be here, and okay, in an instant, finished. Even now, if I'm told to go somewhere, I'm ready. So, no attachment towards the body, attachment towards bodily beings, attachment to places, attachment to anything worldly. This is possible only when we are able to go into the depth of Baba's teachings, Baba's love, the experience of all that, the feelings of all that, so nothing external is remembered. This is how we understand. So being in Madhuban, there is no external pull at all. Lokik relatives, of course they call, we go there, not that we don't. Not that we don't serve our Lokiks. Many people tell us, don't you go and meet your Lokiks? Of course we go. We have to serve them. My mother was in the hospital for many months, So Dadiji told me, no, you have to go and serve your mother. So I was living in Madhuban, so much service in Madhuban. But Dadi told me, no, this is about 4 years back. She said, no, you have to serve your mother. So I was in the hospital with my Lokik mother for 1 whole month, I said, okay, that is also good service for me. But then she left her body in front of me, and I saw how the soul left the body, right in front of me. And I was giving her that drishti because she was suffering, and when I was telling her, now Baba is with you, Baba is with you, and I just put my finger on her forehead and said and told Baba, Baba, this child is yours, Baba, the child is yours. And she had it felt that comfort, and just with that my hand on her forehead, at that very moment, the soul left the body in that state of peace, the state of comfort, because she had lots of suffering. But she was the one who brought me to Baba. So of course I owed her a lot. So I was serving her for 1 month. But there was no attachment at all. So that's what Baba says, you have to serve, but beyond the attachment. So the love is there, the care is there, Everything is there, but the mind is with Baba. And we have to remind everyone how to remember Baba all the time. So that's our work, and we are world servers, world benefactors. We are the bestowers. So if you think of that too, then too you will want to share love with all and yet remain unattached. So that's what our aim is it not? So will it be difficult to give up attachment? Yeah? Now what do you think? Will it be difficult? Those who think it's still difficult to give up attachment, they raise their hand. Oh, within 1.5 hours you're totally changed. Huh? It should be very easy, very simple. No difficulty at all. And never feel alone. Baba is with us. That's what Baba says. Why do you take the burden on your head? Give it to Baba. You are not alone. To be alone and still not be alone. In the gathering, feel being alone in solitude. And when you're in solitude, you're not alone, you're with Baba. Sometimes, I remember Big Didi used to tell us, every morning when you wake up and you are remembering Baba, at that time eat 5 bananas. 5 bananas every morning when you wake up. Which are those 5 bananas? In Hindi, it's a pun on the word banana. In Hindi, it is kela. Kela is the Hindi word for banana. So kela, the word kela has many meanings. Akela. Akela means alone. So eat 5 bananas every day means when you wake up, I have come alone. Alone. This is 1 kela, 1 banana. I have to go back alone. This is the 2nd banana, 2nd kela. I have come alone, I have to go back alone. And 3rd banana is in a lonely place, means when you're alone, physically alone also. Be alone or becoming alone, physically, also mentally, no one you are remembering, and you are remembering the lone Father. So I have come alone, I will go back alone, in a lone place, a lonely place, a place of solitude. Become alone, remembering no one mentally, and just be in the remembrance of one Father, the lone Father. So the word lone, alone, lonely, lone, it is all means bananas. So eat 5 bananas every day. Can you? Can you eat 5 bananas every day? Those who can eat 5 bananas every day, raise your hand. Yes, don't eat those 5 bananas every day. Not that, I didn't mean that. So I have come alone, I will go back alone, in a lonely place, become lonely mentally too, and remember the lone Father. So you are in solitude, but still you are not alone. You may be in a gathering, but in a gathering, be in solitude. And if you are alone, you are not alone because you are in the company of the Father. So you are alone and yet not alone. You are in a company and yet you are not in a company because you are in God's company. So this is the beauty of Baba's knowledge, which teaches us how to keep a wonderful balance everywhere. Okay? Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Okay.